And this Texas offense, I think, completely changes. My expectation for Arch isn't to drop 400 passing yards every single game. My expectation for Arch is to keep the offense going and be able to restart it quicker than what Quinn Ewers was lacking. You want to talk about Arch Manning? Let's talk about Arch Manning, because everyone wants to talk about Arch. And this is when we officially see the first start for Arch in the shoe against Ohio State. What's your expectations for Arch? Not just what ESPN is trying to tell you, not what the betting market is trying to tell you with him being the leader in the Heisman odds. You yourself, if we get to the end of the season, what would be meeting the expectations or exceeding for Arch Manning? Because it's a lot of noise from media outlets, the last name. He's in Lee Corso's farewell tour, promo package, and things like that. What is your expectations for Arch? And I'll tell you mine, because I want to give the kid some grace. And I think a successful season for him isn't going to look like what you think it is. It's not going to be dropping a Joe Burrow 50 touchdowns, 5K yards, an undefeated season with Texas Tech, though that could be the ceiling for him. You know, Arch has started some games, I believe Mississippi State and then University of Louisiana Monroe, if I'm remembering correctly. And from the limited tape that he has shown, he has talent. It's not just like the whole thing that when he was coming out of high school, he was a 3-star with the last name of Manning that got a 5-star type of love just because of the name on his jersey. The kid has talent. He's a mobile quarterback that I think can put the ball in the right space, but the mobility piece is the huge factor, because the best that this Texas offense looked all last season was when Wisner was running the football at an elite level, when Jaden Blue was able to run the football. I think of when they played Texas A&M, Wisner, I believe, had 150 plus yards. When they were able to run the ball against Clemson, it wasn't, you know, as much as we love Matthew Golden on this channel and on this show, Matthew Golden was one of my favorite wide receivers coming out of the NFL draft. And he made Quinn Ewers look so good. And then you had Isaiah Bond and others. Everyone wants to look to these wide receivers, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, it's about these running backs. You have Cedric Baxter, you have Wisner coming back, you have depth at the running back position. Now you have a mobile quarterback who, the biggest problem with Quinn was not the lack of mobility, it was the lack of pocket presence and be able to move within and out of the pocket. Very similar to Avery Johnson. Sure, he could potentially scramble, not to the same level. I'm not comparing Quinn to Avery, but whenever the pocket was collapsing, that creativity to be able to expand and extend the play was non-existent. If Arch can have that, and there's a 3rd and 7, and the pocket collapses, and the play is dead in the water, can he make a little bit of something out of nothing? And this Texas offense, I think, completely changes. My expectation for Arch isn't to drop 400 passing yards every single game. My expectation for Arch is to keep the offense going and be able to restart it quicker than what Quinn Ewers was lacking. Because Steve Sarkisian's offense, like most spread offenses, gets going at a very good level to start the year. Or when it looks good, it looks great. It's running smooth. You wonder, how is anyone ever to be able to stop this offense? You have the quick screen passes. You have so many players going from left to right. You don't know where to go. You have all these motion plays. It looks great when it's running well. But then you have a 3-and-out here, a 3-and-out there. It starts to stall out. And when that was stalling out, because Quinn wasn't much of a threat with his legs, and they had the injuries in the running back room, Texas's offense would stall out for long periods of time. That's why they would almost do this boa constrictor type of game plan where they could get to a lead and basically their defense would just suffocate the opposing offensive side and keep just enough distance to where they would end up winning the football game by the end of the 4th quarter. About a 10, 13-point lead. You feel like you're in striking distance if you're the opponent, but the defense is so good that 13 points feels more like 21. Can they win in a different style with Arch? Can Arch, with his legs, be more of a threat to be able to restart this offense so that by the time we go into the 3rd and 4th quarter, they're up by 30 against a good opponent? Because they can dominate the Louisiana Monroes, the poor Mississippi States of the world. They can dominate those teams and win by 50, but can they do that against a good opponent that can actually throw the forward pass? Because I know Texas Longhorn fans are going to immediately point to that Michigan game. I'm talking about an offense that actually has a pulse. That's what I expect from Arch. I'm not going to give a stat line because how he gets to those stats is much more important to me than it is to just drop 4,000 passing yards, but it doesn't look great. You could put up numbers. I mean, best example was Avery Johnson against Iowa State. He put up numbers. Do I think his performance was this elite performance of 21 of 30, 300 passing yards traditionally would look like? No. I think if you put it on the tape, you would see that.